Welcome to Around the Rinks, your go-to hockey podcast.
We are back, another episode of Around the Rinks. I'm Noah, joined by Brandon, Kylee, and Reece. And Arizona, farewell. It's last game of the season for them, last game in Arizona for who knows when. It was a pretty good send-off, you know. They won the game 5-2 against the Oilers in a pretty nothing game for them. Not sure if you guys want to go into how you guys thought about the game. Did you guys all watch it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a pretty entertaining game. Of course, it was a 8:30 start. Of course, why not? Everybody's favorite start. A lot of things happened in that game too. Shane Doan won on the call. That was pretty sick.
That was cool.
Yeah, called a goal, too.
Yeah.
That was a sick goal.
Yeah.
And it was like Jack Michaels is like,
Mitchell.
it kind of looked like to the guy to my right in 1999. It's like that is pretty cool. And then the Salt Lake City sucks. That was
the highlight of my game.
the highlight of the game too. The tweet blew up for me, so I'm pretty happy about that.
Little selfish tire punk.
Yeah, got 2 likes.
Tire punk. There you go. Way to go.
Yeah.
I like how Louis was kind of reminiscing when he was on that team too. It was kind of
Yeah, totally.
cool to see
That was really cool. DeBrusco's like saying how you've kind of known everybody on that team, and the team manager or the equipment guy was there for since the existence of the team too, and they had a whole proper send off for him, and then everybody came out on the center ice, took a picture on the ASU logo as Brendan sent a picture in. Just everybody lined up on the ASU.
I got such a good giggle out of that. Like the AZ ones. Fuck, what? Oh, sorry.
God forbid.
God forbid. Call it 10 feet to the right. Nah, we're going to go right over top of that and have it right over the ASU logo. Someone said something about that. That's funny.
But yeah, that was a fun game to watch, honestly. And a whiteout crowd, that's always appealing to look at.
Yeah, they were telling a lot of people were trying to tell Oilers fans to put the t-shirt on over their jersey, and I was like, why would you tell somebody who's going there to support their team to cover it up and
I would have been the first guy throwing that white on. I would have thrown it right over my McDavid jersey.
Even Oilers Nation, like, they were posting stuff like Mimamoto and like those guys were posting stuff about like wear a white Oilers jersey. Like, this is all these Coyotes fans have left. Like, honestly, might as well. Like, it was kind of a like monumental game to watch, just to like see that franchise go away. Like, I think it'll be back for sure. Like,
I
at
think
some
so.
capacity, like sometime.
We all know Bettman wants it,
as
much as anybody else.
Yeah. Like, I think it's gonna be forced in, but
they're at least gonna have that expansion team, right? So
yeah,
there's a start.
and they will have that 5-year window of if it all depends this June. Like, if that land sale goes through.
How about their Twitter? Did you see that?
That's hilarious.
Did you guys see that
shutting her down?
It ended up being the owner's son running their Twitter.
Yeah, they fired everybody on the social teams.
So yeah, I've heard a few stories now that this owner is like literally like the laziest, like pretty like scummy dude in like all of team ownership.
Well,
like,
I heard he wasn't paying his players.
Yeah,
and
wasn't paying hotel
tickets. Like the one in Toronto that came out just a month ago. I don't think.
Yeah.
Like, not even. I don't think. Like, they didn't pay for a hotel fee. Is in Toronto. Like, it's not a good look, and it's been this constant pile and whatever controversies and whatnot of not paying staff either. Right? It's a bad ownership group.
Did you see Biz's little monologue
on TNT? Yeah.
And he's like, I want them back, yada, yada, yada.
Different.
With new ownership. Don't let these guys back in.
Yeah.
On a national broadcast.
I always mess up. It's Marello, right?
Yeah,
I can't say that.
It sounds super Italian.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. And yeah, it was his son running the social team.
Yeah,
for
like all those things that you see where it's like, holy, this is a professional sports team. This is their account.
Yeah, this is hilarious.
And it's the owner's son, like, running this thing, like, smirking while he's sending out some meme on the Phoenix Coyotes page. I was like, no shit, eh?
Yeah, I saw this tweet actually got deleted. It was the like, see you guys June, whatever the date is. June 27th, do you remember? Yeah, see you guys June 27th for the bid for the land auction. And it got deleted, so he must have gotten a little trouble for that, I guess. But slap on the wrist from the old man.
I was trying to figure out what that date was for.
That's the land auction.
That makes sense.
So and I think that date will determine if we'll see an Arizona team or not. But that's going to be with the same ownership group, and speaking of ownership, it's like since the beginning of the Coyotes in 1996, there's been 8 different owners.
That's crazy.
8 different owners.
Yeah.
8 different millionaire groups coming in and just messing it up. And it works. Like Arizona works in the desert with hockey. Like they've done it before. I think Shane Doan was talking about it, how they did sell out crowds extremely on their playoff run. They had a full arena packed full of fans, and there's fans there. They have the population for in Phoenix. Like I think Phoenix's population is more than Utah's. So there's people there and there's fans there. It's just
getting them to the game.
Yep. It's just ownership. It ruined the franchise. So I'm curious how this is all going to play out. I guess we'll see it in the summer, which we'll probably continue the podcast during the summer. We'll see how that runs. We'll probably be switching to a video format.
Yeah.
Ooh.
We'll see if we get locked out of the building or not.
Yeah, if not, we'll probably go online or whatnot. So we'll see. Mr. Producer Liam Peace will figure that out.
Around the rinks forever.
Yeah, we'll keep going. Then we'll be back next season as well.
Yeah, I think it was notable to also see who got sat for that game too. I was a little curious why McDavid didn't just take a seat and rest a little bit more. I was curious why it was
I think
I can
CC and Kane. Nurse makes sense. He's our top defenseman.
Yeah,
why
you
not
don't
let
want
him
to play
sit,
in
right?
22 minutes anyway, and you want to get Broberg too. He had a fantastic game.
No, I love Broberg.
He looked confident.
He
out
looked
there.
really great.
Yeah.
From other starts
Except
of the
that
season.
one. Did you see? Was it I think it was the first goal when he should turn right and he turned left and took the long way around, and I don't know if it was ever going to stop the
It
goal.
was him and
Yeah.
Vinny,
But it
hey?
looked
him and
ridiculous on the replay.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
I think that, and that's the thing is, I think they were saying that he's only ever played, 39 games or something. He's been drafted for so long, but and you think he's had so many opportunities. He's only played a little bit of hockey in the NHL.
I think it was
right?
11 this season.
I think
it wasn't
it was
that
11, yeah.
crazy.
He's gonna get a lot more opportunities, and he's only gonna get better. And I thought that was good. He played a decent amount of minutes. I think actually he wasn't playing 6 like he was half the time last season. So it's nice to see him actually get in there and play. And so I'm excited. I think Stetcher has been playing good too. I think
Holloway
Yeah,
has been playing
Holloway's been
awesome.
sick.
Holloway is probably the best forward on the ice.
Holloway's probably going to
For
be the one
Oilers.
coming out for the playoffs, though, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Which
Probably.
sucks.
We have
It's
to.
you have to, yeah.
It's stupid because he honestly is the most he actually pushes the pace. He can create offense himself.
And
so
he
it
keeps
sucks
up with
taking him out of the
McLeod.
line.
But it's so
They
nice to
gotta
have that
get him on the
competition.
penalty kill.
Yes.
Yeah,
If
that.
he can go on the penalty kill, he can swap right in and out for Janmark or whoever.
And if there's ever an injury, you have a confident guy that
Yeah.
you can slot in.
I
Which
also
is
wouldn't
nice.
be shocked if they change up their PK, having McDavid and Draisaitl out there more often in the playoffs.
Oh,
And
definitely.
then having you can kind of free up a little bit more roster space doing that.
Their PK didn't, or even their power play yesterday didn't look that good. Coyotes were determined.
I
that
don't
game.
think they
Yeah.
were even thinking about that game.
No, totally.
I don't
you
think
can tell.
they cared at all.
And
No matter how bad Arizona can be, I think it was just this is our last game, we're gonna win. They had that determination, and I think that kind of went over skill.
Totally. I mean, what? Of course, it's your last game home, right? So in Arizona, so why not just give the fans what they want?
Well, and even since the news of the relocation and the league telling the players and whatnot, and
they've been on
all of this
heater.
They beat Edmonton twice and Vancouver once,
Yep.
and they lost, I think, a 1-goal game to Calgary in overtime or something.
Yeah.
They've been.
Come
And
on,
they,
fellas.
beat
it's good to
Vegas
see.
too.
Yeah, I brought it up last podcast. They're the most scoring team since February or whatnot, right? So they've
That's
scored
crazy.
more goals than any other team. So their forward core. I know they talked about a lot on the call last night. Is just they're a dangerous looking team.
Well, Gunther too. And
Gunther
not to-
too.
Gunther is sick.
That
Oh my
goal,
gosh.
just a laser.
They said he had 18 goals in 40 games.
That's silly.
And
Yeah.
this is his, I don't know if he would still be considered a rookie. I don't know how many games he played.
it would be his rookie
I think
season.
it's his rookie
this
season,
is
yeah.
because he was.
I know
with-
he played a decent amount of
Oil
games
Kings.
last year, though.
I don't know how that all works with the
Yeah.
It might not be.
I think if you play over 37 in your rookie year, then
He may have played more than.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It could be because I haven't seen his name in call or votes or anything.
But anyways, like, I honestly, I feel really genuinely bad for these Arizona fans. Like,
Totally.
You've been going through this shitstorm for, excuse my potty mouth, but honestly, like,
True.
it's been so bad there for so long, and now, like, you're finally getting all these prospects are coming up. You got Josh Doan, you got Clayton Keller, who's like a legitimate point per game player.
His like non-goal after the first period when the buzzer went off, that was a laser, absolute laser. And yeah, he's going to be the cornerstone of that franchise now. He's going to be that guy, and that forward group is just stacked bottom to top from rookies to even a couple veteran guys. It's going to be a dangerous team. I think, and Ryan Smith with Utah said that they want to be aggressive, so they want to add more pieces without breaking up the core. So
yeah,
we can see a great Utah team next season, and they were right there too. Like they're within 2 points of the playoffs at the All-Star break. Then they lost 12 in a row, I want to say. It was something crazy like that.
Yeah, they were in a good spot.
I wrote about it. I wrote about like Arizona can make the playoffs and Mullet Arena in the playoffs. That would be electric.
You jinxed them.
I totally did. Feel bad, but
now you're the reason they're going to Salt Lake City.
Yeah, I am the reason.
Another apology video coming soon.
No.
Well, my last
I'll buy
note
a Coyotes jersey.
was that tweet that Ryan Smith put out. You see that where he's like, everybody knows that not everything's true on the internet.
Yeah.
Yep.
But this is
pretty
true.
I love him. It is so good having an owner that wants hockey in the city.
Oh, and mixing it up on social media, like just driving that buzz.
Like even sent out this. I talked about last time. We sent out a survey. What should we call the team? It's stuff like that, like you don't see from other owners at all, ever.
Making it like interactive, right? And then I did want to mention, like, I do feel really bad for like the Arizona Coyotes too, because like, let's say they got kids, they're pulling their kids out of school and moving. What if their parents had just moved down to Arizona, bought a place? Like everybody's life is changing.
Even from the play-by-play announcer for Arizona, he had I'm not sure if you guys saw that video, the 5-minute video.
That was awesome.
That was an amazing video. So I don't know what's happening with him. All the coaching staff, I don't know if they're going to be moving over. A lot of people are going to be losing their jobs, and like you said, people had families in Arizona. People are sending kids to school there.
Yeah, it's a lot more than hockey, right?
Yeah.
Life's
and just seeing like all the fans tearing up at the end, and they're showing clips of everyone.
Yeah, those seasons ticket holders too. They were like, this is like what our family does together, right?
Yeah.
So that's being taken away from them.
Yeah, seriously, like how do you fill that time?
Yeah.
Like going to a game like almost every second night for a while.
2.5 hours.
Yeah, like all of a sudden that's just like boom, gone.
Yep. And probably one last stat on this is the first ever win in Arizona Coyotes was a 5-2 win, and they ended off in a 5-2 loss. So kind of a cool little stat there, but it's just end of the Coyotes. It's something that we'll remember where we were, I guess, on my couch.
Yeah.
So it was a really cool game, and I'm gonna miss the Coyotes. I think they have probably one of the best jerseys in the league as well. Like, so I'm curious how Utah's gonna try to outmatch that.
My girlfriend's only comment. She's like, so like they won't have these jerseys anymore, hey?
Yeah.
No, not for a while.
I know my buddy just bought the reverse retro one from last year. Whew, those are so nice jerseys. And
they did that well.
Yeah, I mean they've always done it well. Bringing back the OG jersey too, instead of like the little wolf one. Now you got the hockey stick. I forget the name of it.
And that's like so OG desert style.
Yeah, totally.
So it wasn't like it was just like they came up with anything. Like they put like the desert into it. So it's sad to see that go.
Yeah.
Oh, ticket prices.
Oh yeah, we can bring up
scratch on that.
I mean, yeah, like the ticket prices were mental. Like it's funny. It got to a price point that like it's more money to buy a ticket for that last game than Florida playoff tickets are going to be.
I saw $2,000 for one of them. It was like
oh yeah, it went up to $2,000 for just lower. I mean, it's only lower bowl.
I was like, wait, what?
But yeah, it was kind of crazy, and there wasn't much Oilers fans. Like last time, I think they said like 80% of Oiler fans were filled the arena. This time, you can easily see them in the crowd, but
Or they put
It
the
was
white
select few.
T-shirt on.
Yeah, right. But it was a good turnout for Coyotes fans, and I'm not sure if you guys want to add one more thing.
Just the way the players stuck around with all the fans afterwards.
Totally.
It was like half
Did
hour after.
jersey
by the time.
exchange. I wish Sportsnet kept covering that.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to watch that more, but
And then the only other thing I heard on Twitter was they shut down the tailgate
yeah,
prematurely.
Yeah.
What?
That
Come on.
again.
The last
the ownership
little kick in the dick, hey?
Yep.
Like, let the guys just hang out in the parking lot.
Yep.
No.
and
Get
so,
out of here.
So they went to like a street, like across the street to a
Oh.
different parking lot.
Yeah, no,
Garbage.
they're like sitting on like tires and stuff to watch this game on a projector. Like, just another kick in the face. Exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, that is tough. Like, come on, it's the last game.
Yeah.
Just let the fans do whatever they want. But farewell, Arizona.
Yep.
I guess we can probably go to the Eastern Conference now.
Yep.
And do you want me just to go through all this?
Hammer
Want me-
away, Elliot.
Okay, so I'm gonna start with Islanders. Clinch third in the Metro. So Islanders are making the playoffs. Patrick Waugh, they did it. So they're the only team. All those 5 teams, they're the only ones that actually won games. And so we're gonna go. Okay.
Yep.
So Caps, they needed a win against the Flyers to clinch, which they did. And Detroit needed a win against Montreal and the Caps to record a point or less, which didn't happen. So Detroit was out after the Caps won. But the way the Caps won,
Oh, I did want
It
to talk
was,
about that. The Ovechkin goal.
yep, or not even that. It was the TJ Oshie empty net goal. So
Yes.
the Flyers pulled a goalie at 7:33 Mountain Standard Time. And
Thinking they still have a chance.
yes, thinking they still have a chance. 1 minute later, Detroit ties the game up in Montreal with 3 seconds on the clock.
And nobody told them, so they did it
Yep.
for no reason.
Yeah,
Torts was, Torts is ballsy like that, and I could see him doing that anyways, but like...
so because Detroit tied it up and it was going to overtime because there's 3 seconds left. If Detroit got that point, Philly's officially eliminated, which happened. But Torch was having a post game interview after, and he was like, "Yeah, they didn't tell me. My video coach watching the game didn't hear anything." And I guess the video coach probably assumed the game was already over because there's 3 seconds left.
Yeah.
And it's like, no way Detroit finishes.
Clicked out of that box a little premature.
Yeah.
That's
Ovechkin's
insane.
goal was crazy
But
too.
yeah.
Like, we've seen Ovechkin get hit in the face and not flinch, but the way he was in front of that net about to take, like, all he did was turn his head a little bit.
Yep.
He was pretty close to taking that puck to the face, but he was in there and it bounced off the shaft of his stick and in. And I think it was such a sick goal to make it 1-0.
Yeah. Oh,
a
that
lot
game
of
was crazy.
A lot of people are just like, oh, like Ovechkin game, oh, nah. But like, he's still there. Like, he carried that game.
The person I thought carried that game was Charlie Lindgren, which
Yeah.
I'll get to a little later. But so it was between 2 minutes. It was 7:33 where Detroit tied it up. 7:34 p.m. net was pulled. Then 7:35 empty net goal. So Twitter exploded. It was like the most tweets I've ever seen just going in my feed nonstop of like, Detroit tied it up, Philly pulled the net, Washington scored the empty net. So it was like, holy crap, everything's just happening all at once. So it's like, it was kind of hard to follow what's happening with all the standings now. But yeah, so basically Philly pulled the goalie for no reason and let the Caps win. That is pretty much the easiest way to say it.
Yep.
And because that happened, they eliminated Detroit, Pittsburgh, and Philly, and themselves, I guess. So one punch in the face to Detroit and Pittsburgh from the Philly fans, or Philly, I guess.
Especially
Which is
for
hilarious.
like how dramatic all of those final games were. For
Oh,
Detroit.
totally.
Like,
I mean, that was
tying
much
it
watch
up
hockey.
in the last couple minutes. Either the last 2 minutes
Yep.
or the last 2 seconds.
And they did it in
like,
both games, too,
Yeah.
in Montreal, where they tied it up last minute and
And
whatever
I think
it
that
was.
game before Montreal, they tied it up
Yep.
late too. And
A minute and
who
and a half.
I can't remember who they were playing in that one, but
Or
Yeah.
before the Montreal game?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
Before the 2
Oh.
Montreal games.
like I think they
Yeah,
did
you're right, I
3
don't
games in a row.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like come from behind
that is
wins
the
like
worst
crazy.
feeling. Like, if you're a Detroit fan, that is the most punch in the balls thing ever.
And they're so bummed in that shootout.
Oh, when Patrick Kane scored,
Yeah,
they
like,
knew.
They knew already.
Yeah, that
they found out like in between the overtime and the shootout, and
Yep.
you could just like their body language was so
I saw.
sad.
I think it was Barstool that sent out a thing for it. It was like Flyers finally get their revenge for the 1997 Cup final against Detroit, So it's just one less fuck you, pretty much. So, yeah, it was a wacky situation. It was so exciting, but the Caps do it. And the Caps, the worst goal differential, minus 37, making the playoffs.
Yeah,
That
I
is
saw that.
the worst goal differential since 1991. That is hilarious stat to see. It is like no one thought the Caps were making it.
No.
Not one person thought they were dead in the water. They were done. They sold they sold Kuznetsov. They sold Orlov last season. It was pretty much a fire sale there. But this kid, Charlie Lindgren, he's the reason they made it. And he has stopped 66 out of the last 67 shots he's faced in the end of regular season. He only let that one in Detroit, and that was it for the last couple games. And he has been on fire. He's going to be huge in the playoffs for them. That's a scary team if Charlie Lindgren's being like that. And kind of a nowhere name. I remember him in Montreal and him being a prospect in there, and everybody he's the next Carey Price, and it never worked out.
Yeah.
Average Montreal prospect. But it's just what a guy. And he also got a sick mustache. Like, might be up there with Stuart Skinner. So maybe we'll see a Stuart Skinner, Charlie Lindgren Stanley Cup final.
Yeah, you know,
It's in the cards.
a little crazy that both of those like big name goalies in the free agency a couple years ago with Campbell and Kemper both like,
didn't turn out.
Yeah, neither of them are starting goalies anymore. Like Charlie Lindgren has easily taken over that net and has
Skinner's taken over everything,
Yeah.
right?
like Lindgren has been pretty incredible this last stretch, and like they have definitely lucked out on that. Like
Totally. And he's a right-handed goalie too, which is always so weird to look at. Him catching with his right, which probably always helps too, right? Like players aren't used to it. It's kind of a small thing, but like it does definitely make an impact for lefty and righty shooters of where they're going to pick corners now.
100%.
while we're on the topic of Washington, like everyone was really shouting out Sidney Crosby this year for like how exceptional a 36-year-old season he had. Like 42 goals, 52 assists, 94 points. Like that's pretty incredible.
I say he could have been a Hart finalist if they made it.
But Ovechkin, he's 38 years old right now. He has not solo, but dragged this team into this playoff spot. And he's 38 years. When he was 36, like Crosby's age this year, he had 50 goals. Was not really as talked about. I don't know if they made the playoffs that year. I think they did and got like swept by the Islander. Anyways, just shout out to Ovechkin. Like another year hitting 30 goals. Like really, I think it's sick to see him getting in the playoffs. I was pretty bummed that Pittsburgh was out because like Crosby, blah blah.
I think we all had.
I gotta give it up to Ovechkin. Like he deserves this. Being a couple years older, who knows how many more opportunities he's really gonna have. But yeah, sick to see him getting back in and get another opportunity.
And his quote after the game: "Thanks, Philly."
Thanks, Philly.
Oh my! How do you can't like you gotta love him. Like he's such a great personality there too, and he's just a great guy. And he's been out like he had a quiet beginning of the year, but he's really stepped it up after the All-Star break, scoring goals every night almost. So.
Seriously.
And you can tell he wants to blow Gretzky's record out of the water. Like he's not gonna just get there. He wants to like go 100 over. Like he wants to make it like almost impossible for somebody else to follow him up.
And he totally could.
And he will do it. I think. Like he's 38. Like he can play till what? Like I can see him going to like 40s, mid 40s. Like he's insane like that.
Totally.
So
and he's still got term on his contract. The Russian machine never breaks down, right? Like he is a different, and he's drinking Coca-Cola on the bench every game too. Like
pizza sub and flaming hot Cheetos on the plane.
Yeah, I saw a clip of him playing soccer too, and he just absolutely bodied this guy. Like he wasn't just throwing hits on the ice; he's throwing hits in soccer too. Yeah. And he's huge.
Oh yeah, he's
he's
huge. You don't want to mess around with Ovi.
Yeah, you can never usually tell like sometimes with like equipment and stuff how big a person is, and then I just saw like he's just like stocky. Like he's a huge guy.
Yeah.
Well, in his prime, he was the most electric player to watch maybe ever.
Yeah.
Still is.
He's
seriously
gonna run you over and put it through the 20.
Lead the league in goals and hits.
Yeah.
Like So sick.
And not bumps. Like,
Yeah, no,
get off
like-
the track.
Yeah,
buddy.
exactly.
Yeah, that's what I regret is not being into hockey when I was like a kid because I'm just like, I started watching hockey pretty religiously during COVID, so I kind of missed out on watching Ovi in his
like,
prime and stuff.
Through like all those battles when they couldn't get past the Pens, those were
Those were the
years.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Sid, and thank you, and I love you and whatnot. But Ovi was my guy growing up. That
Yeah?
dude, he was electric.
Yeah, and like I said, he's a train out there. He's always making hits, and he still is. Like
Yep.
the way he plays and how he's not been injured, like
Seriously.
majorly or anything like that, and how he's still working, scoring 40 goals, 30 goals, 50 goals, maybe even like he can do it, and he's gonna pass this Gretzky record, and he's the GOAT. He might be the best Russian to live, right? Like best Russian NHL player out there.
There's a strong argument
Yeah.
for it.
And
I mean, honestly, like him, Bure, Fedorov.
yeah.
I think
Like, I
Tretiak,
think-
and I know he never
True,
played
yeah.
in the show, so we'll never really know. But
He could have
that
been.
guy is widely regarded as the best goalie to ever do it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a good argument, though, for Ovi. So
Yep, 100%.
being one of the greats.
But
Speaking of Ovi, and not to brush off all of this, the Matthews thing
Hilarious.
didn't hit 70,
Yeah.
right? Just teasing us at 69. Nice.
Nice.
Very nice.
Nice.
You could tell he was a little sad, and they were trying to push him in the interview to say he was sad, and he was
Yep.
just kind of like, "Hey, my media knowledge and speaking
knew.
is not going to let me say this, but
Yep.
my face will."
Yeah.
It was I watched that interview
That was
yesterday.
probably the most determined I've ever seen Matthews in a game, though.
That
you
he had
have your numbers,
17
right?
shots on goal in
Yep.
the last 2 games pushing for it.
Yeah, and he
That's
had,
He
silly.
hit the
He had a-
crossbar twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Post
had-
on the crossbar.
he had 16 shot attempts against Tampa. 16, and 11 of those hit or were on net. Like 11 shots in a game is absurd. 9 scoring chances. He doesn't hit the 70, but like he tried. He gave it
that
all.
and that one chance that he had where he put it through Dumba's feet, did the 360 and then rang it off the crossbar. That would have been probably
Parents
goal
in
of
the crowd
year.
too.
His 70th goal, probably the nicest goal of his career. Like that would have been insane.
That would have been nasty.
But I have a couple numbers here.
Good. Big number guy.
Matthews, in 562 regular season games, has 368 goals. Just for easy figuring, Ovechkin's first 7 seasons in the league, he played 553 games, so 9 short of where Matthews is at right now.
Yep.
But he had 339 goals, so 30 less,
That is
29.
there. Wow. Like
The pace is insane.
The pace
Ovi
is insane.
had a 50-goal season every season. He pretty much played.
yeah.
But Matthews is on track right now, at least, to... he's got the slight edge.
I mean, he's got it.
Is he the
Like,
next? Is he going to be the one to break Ovi's record
he-
after he sets it?
He
Who
would
knows?
be. If it's anybody, it's him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
And
like I think
It's him or McDavid.
the only factor is just injuries. Like, and that's why Ovi is a machine, because he's never. I'm not sure if he's ever been injured for longer than half a season. Like, he's been crazy. Like, and he's been scoring nonstop. So it's just longevity for Matthews, and if he can play out the next 2 decades perfectly like how he is right now, he's no doubt passing Ovi's record, I guess.
Which is so silly, hey?
Yeah.
Ovi played the long game.
Yeah,
He
totally.
really did.
And yeah, just all props to all the insane goal scorers, right? And it's just they're so fun to watch. As much as we crap on Matthews all the time.
Yeah, bust.
Well, it was
I
kind
actually
of
am a proud
fun.
owner of a Matthews jersey. I have not revealed
way.
that. Yeah, I do like Matthews, but he's a bust and he sucks. And
You
all
own a
those
Matthews
things.
jersey?
I do.
Really?
Yeah, sadly.
Yeah.
I loved
Yeah.
getting to snicker when he didn't get it, and then McDavid gets his 100 assists. It was kind of like
Which
burn.
Which
you know.
we can probably go to now. McDavid hits 100 assists. He did it.
Did it?
And
only
did
took
it,
him.
he did it against the Sharks, which that was I'm surprised he didn't get that earlier that game. It
No
was
kidding.
one of the type of games.
I
like-
think he likes number 9. Like thought it'd be the 9th goal of the game. Like
Yeah.
It was planned, right?
it was.
I would have found it hilarious if Edmonton scored 9 goals and McDavid didn't get 1 assist.
Yeah. I had the absolute luxury of attending that game live, actually.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That would've
And
been fun.
yeah, no, my legs were getting sore from standing up and down so many times.
Yeah, my dad took my brother. You know how mad I was? I was working. I didn't even get to watch the game.
Yikes.
Yeah, I know. Sad
But
night.
we walked, like, me and my girlfriend got in there kind of late, and then, like, just in time for the first goal, and it looked like Hyman, like McDavid to Hyman, but it went off the guy. So I was like, oh my gosh, like, Hunter assist. And then
Yeah.
they announced it, and it's like,
It's Hyman.
scored by Connor McDavid.
Hyman, yeah. Almost.
So,
The
yeah.
most sad you've ever been to
Once
watch
he-
Connor score a goal ever.
Yeah, I literally.
Totally.
And you could see it the whole time, just like forcing these passes through. And I
Yep.
mean, like, but pour one out for Devin Cooley too. Like, it was so hard to watch that guy get scored on so many times. Just 2-on-1, 2-on-1,
Every-
2-on-1, 2-on-1. I
Then
was
they
like,
threw in the Romanov guy,
oh my
too.
gosh, yeah, and he actually played really
Yeah,
good.
he
I
made some great
thought, like,
saves.
yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, poor Devin Cooley. And did we talk about his quote
I was just
after
gonna
that
bring
game?
that up, but you go ahead.
Made
Good.
what 49 of 50 saves, I think, and they interview him after the game. It's like his fourth NHL game, I
Yep.
think. They interview him after the game, and they're like, "So how does it feel to have like such a dominant game?" And he's like, "You know, it doesn't. I don't really care. Like, we're all gonna die one day, anyways. So like, it doesn't matter."
Is that what he actually said?
Yeah, and they like
Rock
just had
star.
the game of his life. Like they won too. It's not like they lost, and you should be like all upset. Like.
Yeah.
It was so funny to see that quote on Instagram and stuff. I was like, what the hell is wrong with this guy? Is this Brizgalov they got
No
now?
kidding.
Yeah, that absolute rock star quote right there. That is insane. I do got a little stat on McDavid right here. So, McDavid did go 18 games without recording an assist. He also missed 5 games on the season with injury or illness or whatever. So that is 100 assists in 56 games.
That's goofy.
Actually insane.
That's really goofy.
I
That's
saw-
almost 2 a game.
I saw a stat that I think since like March 18, or no, basically at some point throughout this year, McDavid had 56 assists in 27 games or something.
Like,
And like if he had kept the pace that he was on, he would have been well over like 100 even strength points, like easily, and or 100 even strength assists. I think like he would have had 170 some assists, but only was on pace for like 20 goals or something. But like something ridiculous.
Talk
like
about
this
team
guy
player.
he gets so hot, and like I think he's definitely been battling through some stuff this year, like
Totally.
injury wise. So you can kind of see like when you can really tell when he's not 100%.
yeah.
But like when that guy is, oh my god.
He's a different being. And yeah, so we're talking about team first guys, playmakers. There's another guy who had 100 assists, Nikita Kucherov. Does it a couple nights after in Toronto, same night as Matthews trying to hit that 70 mark. Speaking of guys trying to force passes nonstop, Nikita Kucherov. Like, holy smokes. Every time you saw it, you knew he's going to pass it. And that's kind of how he's always been, but like he always gets it through because he's also just different breed. He plays the game so much different than McDavid. Like he plays it almost in slow motion. McDavid plays it 2 times speed.
Yeah.
So much more finesse from
True.
Kucherov.
Yeah.
Like, and I think it was like Pavel Datsyuk had given him a
Totally.
like he was saying the other day, like people have the privilege of watching Nikita Kucherov. Like
Yeah.
I think that a lot of it is like his edge work and the way that he like picks up pucks and like these little things that he does that like people don't really notice as much as like McDavid or McKinnon going through the guy's legs and deking out the goalie. Like Kucherov is a lot more finesse, and he's so good though. Like such an underrated 100 assists, like such a dominant season he had this year, and like has basically been number 2 all year.
Yep. And another stat here coming up. Most points from a winger in a season. Nikita Kucherov.
No way.
Yeah, 149 on the season. And
Wow.
the 2 guys behind him is Jaromir Jagr with 147 and then Mike Bossy with 144. So this could be probably one of the best wingers in NHL history. Like we can say Nikita Kucherov could be up there. And we're talking about great Russian players with Ovi.
Yep.
Like Kucherov is right behind him, I say.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not like the most flashy guy like Ovi, right? And he's not the biggest headline guy like Ovi. He's probably been one of the quietest best players in the league. Out
Thank you,
there.
Florida.
Thank you, Florida. Yeah, probably because he just plays in Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
And his name only probably started rising when he won the Hart and then won the 2 cups. And that's like, and he's been doing that forever. And so just like Nikita Kucherov, he's one of the smartest, most finesse players in the league. He is crazy at what he does. And I'm not sure if you guys want to say anything else on him.
I have a couple numbers here as well.
Oh, big number guy.
He's the 8th player to ever have a 40-goal, 90 assists a season.
Yeah.
Connor missed it last year by 1 assist.
Mm-hmm.
So he had a 64-goal season,
Yep.
90 or 89 assists.
Yeah, that was a different story.
Kind of the same as Matthews in that boat.
Mm-hmm.
Nate Dogg needs 3 assists tonight against the Oilers to join that club.
Wow.
Let's pray that doesn't happen.
If he plays.
If he plays.
If he plays.
Yeah.
That is a big question. It's like, how many players are going to be playing tonight in Colorado?
Yeah.
It's going to be probably a very thin roster from both sides. I know Oilers have called up like a lot.
They call
of
up Gagne, Ernie, and then the other day they had brought up Holloway and Broberg. Yeah.
So it's going to be, they're going to be missing a lot of, they're probably going to just set the whole first line, I assume.
Yeah.
If I was them, I would. Especially, like, I wouldn't want anybody wanting some revenge for that Ekholm hit on Rantanen.
Yeah, and that's why I was like very scared why they're playing Arizona, because Arizona played hard last night.
O'Brien, I forgot to say anything about this when we were talking about this.
Right.
O'Brien was running around last night, and nobody wanted to do a single thing about it.
He's a fan favorite. I know him and Darnay. Like, I know O'Brien wanted a fight. It was clear as day.
Yeah, and like I think Knobloch must have said don't scrap. Like, we don't need any fights, because like Carrick, they were literally like teasing Carrick.
Yeah.
I felt bad for him. Like, so
Well,
yeah,
he had
but
like
that
a
was
big
fun
hit
to watch.
on him too.
Yeah, he was.
Also, what is going on with that guy's beard? Why is it so orange?
Who, Liam O'Brien?
Yeah, his beard is like a totally different color from his hair. It's so orange.
I love him so much. He's such a.
Did he?
Maybe he dyes his hair. or
No
something.
way he dyes his hair or beard.
No, I just like it. Just the difference on camera. I was like, because they right after he scored, they showed him, and I was like, whoa.
Might have been all,
I'd
might have been
never-
all sweaty.
I don't know. It was bright orange compared to his hair. I was laughing at it. I was like, what's going on?
But I love that guy so much. Liam
All right.
O'Brien. Yeah.
More numbers.
Sorry.
More number guy.
It's all right.
What is this
Good
on?
conversation.
Where are we at?
We're still on Cooch, because
Okay.
he didn't stop at 90 assists. He had that 100, right? So with that 100 assists, he's the 3rd player ever to have 40 goals and 100 assists. Lemieux did it once, and as you can imagine, Gretzky's the other guy,
Yeah.
and he did that 11 times.
Yeah,
so that's laughable.
Insane.
And the last
Every
one I
time you see
have
that.
is points excluding empty nets against top 10 teams this year for what I would say is our 3 Hart candidates.
Yep.
We have Nate in 26 points in 22 games played for 1.1 points per game.
Mm-hmm.
Connor has 27 points in 20 games played for 1.35 points a game. Cooch,
What's that?
laughable again.
Yeah.
He has 50 points in 26 games played
my God.
for 1.92 points a game against top 10 opponents without empty
I think
nets.
that's like the biggest stat in the world.
That's silly.
Legit.
That is silly. And
Well-
that could be in the MVP race right there. That could be the big stat right
screw
there.
that
Right?
plus minus, dude. Like,
That's
give
a-
him the trophy.
Plus minus
Yeah.
is a relevant stat.
Well, I know
Like-
you guys wanted to talk about him kind of being discounted from the Hart because of his performance in the All-Stars game, which I think is ridiculous.
Yeah, I
that
think
he's
so,
kind of
too.
getting discounted because
I
of
think
that.
that makes no sense.
I don't
at
know.
all.
I think, like, as much as it seems like a lock for him at this point, like, he's going to lead the scoring race by probably 7 or 8 points
yeah.
at least.
It was something like that.
But, like, for some reason, I just have this feeling that he's not going to win it. And he deserves to win it for sure.
Well, the other one, I wasn't really going to bring it up now, is kind of started talking about the Hart. But Cooch is 1st in the league, Nate 2nd, Connor 3rd, and then Matthews, if you want to throw him in, because he's got all this buzz all
Yep.
over Twitter, right? And he had a hell of a season.
Yep.
He's 6th in the league in points. I put their next closest teammate on there. Leon is 7th with 106.
Mm-hmm.
Rantanen has 103. He's 8th in the league. Then William Nylander, he has 98 points for 10th in the league. And Braden Point comes in at 16th in the league with 90 points.
Which is, it says
So he
so
has
much.
50 some and change more points than the second guy on his team.
Yeah.
There it is.
What? Yeah, like what? I don't see what other argument there is.
I'm not sure if you guys want to say your pick one more time. Like we've been talking about this MVP race almost every episode. I feel like, and no doubt it's probably
keeps changing.
It's
every
changing.
time.
It changed every week.
The only counter I have to that,
Yep.
and I've kind of been, it's just because I've been so annoyed with this whole like Kucherov has no help, like this whole thing that has been going on with the media, but like you've got Stamkos with over 40 goals and 70-some points. Hedman has over 80 points, I think. Point has 45-plus goals. And Hagel has over 70-plus points. Like, he definitely does have help. But I do think that like, gap in between 1 and 2 is so, like, prominent that, like, that's a little bit different.
You can argue the same thing for McDavid, too,
Yeah,
right?
and, like, every single one of those guys, like, they've pretty much got, like, you got Hyman, Bouchard, Nuge, like, and then Colorado. You also got Nichushkin and Makar, Ranson, and Tays. Like, everybody's got a bit of help, but I think
100%.
that gap is like fairly prominent.
I agree.
I think it should count for something for sure.
And especially like the points per game against top 10 opponents, like that I think is huge.
When I saw that, my jaw dropped.
Yeah.
That is. I didn't even see that. That is an insane amount of points.
I kind of half scrolled by it and then went like, "Excuse me."
Sorry, what?
Let's read that 2 or 3 more times just to let it sink in.
Like that is absurd. Wow. Yeah. So I got Kucherov winning it. Like I feel like without him, I don't think there's Tampa in the playoffs.
I agree.
And even a guy like Brayden Point and Brendan Hagel, they're very, really skilled guys. Without Kucherov, I don't think Hagel's there.
No.
He's a great player, but like Kucherov is just making everybody on that team so much better.
Yeah, I mean, if you're getting 100 assists, like
you might as well.
Somebody's got to get the goals.
You can make an argument about Hyman too, right?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
So it is insane how good Kucherov made this Tampa team, and you don't usually it's like Vasilevsky in Tampa carrying them to the playoffs. This year is Kucherov, and it's all been Kucherov, and so I think that is probably my vote for how you win the MVP is just
team success, right? That goes into it. Tampa Bay only finished with 4 less points than Toronto.
Yep, there you go.
Did they not finish with more points than Toronto? I thought this was the first time that Toronto didn't finish second in the division in
third
like 6
because
years.
Florida won it, right? And then Boston finished second.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
Tampa Bay
no,
was
that
the
makes
first
sense.
one.
That makes sense. Yeah, I'm an idiot.
No, you're
That's fine.
well,
No,
okay.
shame me. Shame me.
But we can talk about a little bit about the playoffs here because that is going to be, I think, everyone in the East is going to be an electric playoff series, and we'll be doing our playoff predictions tomorrow because we don't really know what's the West looking like right now.
I mean, I could give a little bit of a preview.
We could, yeah,
Little tease.
little tease.
tease.
Little Austin Matthews noise. Tweeze.
So I have Florida Panthers winning, but I did put like Tampa could upset. Like
Totally.
they are giving underdog upset energy.
This is gonna be such a good first
They
round.
can pull what Florida did to Boston on Florida.
And
Florida
they've
can
done
get
it before.
Florida.
They've done it before going to the
Yeah.
Cup final.
So like honestly, like I have a lot of like split like what ifs on my predictions because it's just crazy this year.
And that was probably my favorite playoff series, and when Tampa won it the second time, that Battle of Florida, that was a crazy series, and we're gonna see it again. And then the classic Toronto versus Boston, first round.
I love it.
I'm so excited.
The amount of story I wouldn't want to see Florida and Toronto, even though it's storylines from last year. The classics there though, like the Boston Toronto rivalries there. And
Give me James
the
Reimer
history-
laying on his face.
Like James Reimer's there too, which is so funny. Like
it's so
all
deep
the
and
class-
old. It's
Yeah.
just got
and
so much going into
like
it.
could Toronto like maybe flip the script for first time in forever, like probably
I
in
personally
history.
don't think so, but it would be cool.
Yeah, I
It would
think
be
so
cool.
too. Like, but this Boston team is so weird. I don't get how they're so good. Pavel Zacha and Charlie Coyle completely filled the slot. The empty
Pasternak.
Yeah, those two guys filled the gap between Bergeron and Krejci. Just outstanding. I think they've done better than them. And without, like, because I think Boston was one of the most overtime teams in the league. They went to overtime so many times. If they won more of those games, they'd be right up there from last year with the most wins in the league. Like, it is crazy how that team just keeps winning, and it is going to be an exciting series. I'm really excited for that one. And Toronto, they're a great team too. That's probably that series I'm probably the most excited about.
Boston's shot themselves in the foot with that stretch they went, that Western Canada stretch where they lost. They like were up in games like all the way through and then lost every single one in overtime.
True.
Speaking of Canada, like it looks like very possible that we could get the cup back in Canada this year. I honestly that's why I might be rooting for Toronto even a little bit, because I just want to see the cup come home where it belongs.
I agree. I feel like this year's the year for a Canadian Cup winner.
I mean, it's been 30 years?
Yeah, since
it's
the Habs.
Ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm just so excited for all of this. It's going to be one electric playoffs. Like, what's the other series? Oh God, I'm forgetting now. We have
the Rangers are playing
Winnipeg, Colorado.
That one.
That one's now. Oh, actually, I got a funny one because everybody's always arguing about the playoffs and playoff format, and how everybody.
The East is 1 through 8.
It's perfectly 1 through 8 in the East.
Yeah,
perfectly 1 seed versus 8 seed, 2nd seed versus 7 seed. It is perfectly in line with that, and I found that so funny because there's always people wanting to change the play. I think we even talked about it not too long ago. Like it is very funny to see how balanced that worked out, and I'm really excited. I keep saying the word excited, but I am. how can you not be, right? Like it's gonna be electric playoffs.
I do have a point here. So I did see that Fleury signed an extension with the Wild, which is awesome. 1 year for $2.5 million.
Good for him. And he is set to retire at the end of the season, next season. And he's turning 40 in November.
Oh, he's chasing records too.
He's chasing records.
Because he's 20 some games away from being the second most games played in as a goaltender.
As a goaltender, yeah.
Passing Robbie Lou and Waugh. Was it Waugh maybe? Or was
it wouldn't have been Waugh. It would have been Broder, yeah.
That's pretty cool. That's super cool. And shout out Canada.
Right?
That list, we're stacked up there.
In goaltenders, even though it's been kind of a quiet for Canadian goaltenders right now. But I'm sure they'll make a comeback eventually.
We had a run.
We had a run.
Speaking of playoffs, I found this super, super funny. Kadri getting chirped. You have holidays in 2 days.
That was so funny.
I feel sorry for you. That was fun to see.
That's
going to
be an all-time clip right there. I always remember seeing the one you go dye your hair. That's the one I always see. I remember always seeing that one. And this one's like, you have holidays in 2 days. Screw off.
Have fun golfing.
Golfing, right?
Why are you chirping when you aren't going to be playing in 2 days?
It's just Kadri's game. But
yeah. Speaking of chirping, kind of tossing it back to Boston there. Did you guys see? And I don't know what game it was from, but it was Marchand just running around against the Leafs. Just, you're going to get it. I'm coming for you. That was 3 minutes of Marchand just running his mouth.
I love that so much. And he's had such a great year. I always watch the Boston docuseries on YouTube, the Behind the B.
Yeah, that's good.
I love that so much. And I think they mic'd up Marchand. And it's just, he's the funniest guy out there. And he's always chirping. He's always in the battles. He's praising up the team as well as a captain.
He should always have a mic on him. I don't know why
True,
he doesn't have a
I
permanent
agree.
mic.
He's
Him
one guy
and
that should always
Kane are
have
my
him.
favorites to watch chirp.
Oh, well, we don't have that much time left. I do want to say one funny, goofy stat here with Jeremy Lauzon, who had 9 hits the other night, and which is a new NHL record for 383 hits on the season. Most hits ever, which is like Jeremy Lauzon. Like what? And that's surpassing Matt Martin's previous high of 882 or 382. So that is a random stat. Most hits in NHL history.
Just another memorable
moment
stat.
of the season, right?
Yeah, exactly.
This is a historical season for everybody, right?
How many did he finish with?
He finished, or I'm not sure if he has another. No, I don't think so. He finished with 383 hits, 383.
So he
one
played
over.
all 82. He's having 4.5 hits a game.
Yeah,
that's pretty solid.
Yeah, that's.
And he had 9 hits, the other
especially
night.
for like a defenseman. Like Especially, like, if you're a forward on the forecheck, a lot of the time, like, you can get in there and smash that D-man a lot easier.
As a defenseman, like we said, Matt Martin had it last time.
Yeah.
Like,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Jeremy Lauzon as a defenseman, that's pretty unheard of
I
for
think
having that many
Kane was
hits, right?
leading the league in hits for a little bit, like a small portion of the season.
Yeah,
But I
think
mean,
so.
getting over like 350 hits in a year, that's a lot on the body. Like,
Totally.
that doesn't even count the amount of times he got hit. Like,
Yeah. Wow, we are running out of time. This has been kind of blowing through this. We got Jack Edwards retiring too.
Yeah, thank you.
probably time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a big Jack Edwards fan growing up. Like, I loved his calls. He always had a lot of goofy calls. He's always pretty biased towards Boston, and I loved it. But this past couple years, it's been tough.
Yeah, old
for
man
him.
yelling at clouds.
Yeah, and he's been like vocal therapy, and he doesn't like. No one really knows what happened to him. Like, it's kind of a weird thing. They had brain exams on him and whatnot, but good for him. Honestly, he's had a great career.
Everybody knows his name for one reason or another.
Yep, either good or bad, right?
Yep.
So
Still in the news.
also, Canadians extending Martin St. Louis for a
Yeah,
2-year
picking up the
extension.
option.
So they're gonna have him for the next 3 years. I love that. I love Louis or Marty. He's a great guy, and he's a great coach in the NHL. I think he's really helped that Montreal team
100%.
like come out of their shell pretty much, and he's been great with the rookies, great with the young guys in development, which Montreal really needed. So good for that. I'm not sure if you guys anything else.
Big game tonight, the day we're recording. Two big ones, actually. Vegas versus Chicago, I think.
Yeah, this
Yep.
is going to decide who
Yeah,
we play.
Vegas versus Anaheim, Chicago versus LA. LA basically needs a Vegas loss, and they need a win. And, like, Vegas is pretty banged up right now, honestly. Like, they're missing Pietrangelo, Stevenson, Stone. Hill's starting, but I mean, he hasn't looked right since he's come back from an injury. Like, I don't really know. Like, I could really care less who the Oilers end up playing in the first round.
I think they don't care either.
Yeah, you're gonna probably have to get through Vegas regardless, and if you can beat them in the first round, then that's a lot.
Might as well
That's
get
a
him out of the way.
Big boost, yeah. So I mean, honestly, like, whatever happens, happens. I'll probably be watching these games for sure tonight, keeping track, but this is freaking exciting. The last pod before, or I guess second last pod before playoffs. But
Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow.
Let's
back
go.
tomorrow for playoff predictions.
2 in a row.
Also, shout out to Jeff Carter.
Yeah,
Fabulous career for him.
Seriously.
And he
retiring.
got pot one in his last game.
Underrated player.
Honestly,
like,
and
last few years have been tough.
He's been getting a lot of hate recently.
Yeah.
I undeserved, honestly. He's been such a great leader, such a great player on the team. And
so sick in Philly.
Yeah.
Like, even in LA for
Even
a
in
while,
LA, yeah.
like, he was
the guy.
Yeah.
He helped them during the cup runs.
He was scary.
Yeah. And so, shout out to Jeff Carter. What a guy. What a career. I do have one more on the Jake Ottinger save yesterday.
Yeah, that was goofy too, eh?
That we can end on a high note
That was pretty crazy,
that was
yeah.
hilarious. Like,
The most nonchalant, get it out of
that
here.
is the Noah Pomeroy special right there. Like, just whatever, just throw your stick there and just like kind of pray, and it just works out. That was so funny, and that's how they clinch at the top of the West too. It's just a wild way to do it, but yeah, good. So
one more quick stat just before we peace out.
Shoot.
Stuart Skinner, 4th best save percentage going into playoffs. He's on a heater. He's got a .916. That's 4th. Number 1, Frederick Anderson, .951.
Yeah, and we talked
Since
about last
March
time. 1st. There's some hot goalies coming to the playoffs, and I think we're gonna see. Probably everybody thought it's going to be a low-scoring playoffs. That's my little prediction there. I feel like goalies are going to be a big part
Pomeroy
there.
hot take.
We're going to see a lot of goalies carry teams.
Yeah, totally. And we have
Jack Campbell.
Jack Campbell's coming back.
Bring him back.
Oh,
well, we'll be back tomorrow with our season predictions, or playoff predictions, sorry. That's going to be a fun episode. But see you guys then. Like, share, subscribe, whatever you want to do. There we go. Follow us on Spotify.
We're getting the likes, the shares, subscribes.
Yeah, there we go. Share with your mom. Share with everybody you know. Around the Rinks is here. And I think we're going to stay during the off season as well. So we'll see you guys then.
Fire it up.
Let's go.
That has been another episode of Around the Rinks, your go-to hockey podcast. We'll see you next time.